Hi.
This is called the container. So let's think about what a container is. We know the containers come in all different shapes and sizes, and their purpose is to hold things that we're not using, needing, or wanting at the moment. They can keep things organized and tidy, and they can give us peace of mind that we have whatever we've stored in them saved for the right time. Like a real container, a visual or imaginary container can hold things for us that we're not ready to digest or deal with at a particular time. What are some examples of actual containers that you can think of? I'll give you a moment. Some ideas you may have thought of are things like a storage bin, a dresser, a desk drawer, a Tupperware, a to-go container, a tin, a jar, a canister, a backpack, a suitcase, a purse, a pencil case, a lunchbox, a shipping crate, and the list goes on. I'm sure some other really great images. In this exercise, you're going to choose a visual container that you can use to pack up memories, emotions, thoughts, body sensations, or anything else that may come up for you at a time that you're not quite ready to deal with it. Or there might not be enough time to, or it's just not the right place for it. When we contain something in this exercise, we're not throwing it away or trying to erase it. We're simply storing it to help you manage the negativity or the upset until you're ready to or can deal with it at a better time. Everything we put in the container is important, and we can and do plan to go back to it. In this exercise, unlike our calm place, we can actually use a container that you really do have in your life. It's not required, but if it would be helpful for you to have the reminder of the actual container nearby, that can be very comforting and easy to access. Like calm place, I would not suggest choosing a container that has any negative memories or associations because we want this container to feel unbiased, reliable, and secure. I would also suggest that the container have a top of some sort and that it be opaque enough that what you place inside it does actually get concealed. Throughout the exercise, to reinforce any positive sensations, I'll invite you to do short sets of slow bilateral stimulation, side to side, tapping on your body for 6 to 8 sets. So without further ado, pick a visual representation of a container that works for you. Now, I invite you to bring up the image of your container with your eyes open or closed, whichever works best for you. What color is your container? What's the texture of it? How does the surface feel when you touch it? What's the shape of it? What's the weight of it like? Now let's check out the closure mechanism. How do you know it's closed? Let's bring up something now that we can imagine putting into the container to test its integrity to make sure it works. Maybe an index card or a slip of paper or a cotton ball or something. What would you like to use as our tester? Okay, once you've chosen, empty your container and see if you can put your imaginary item inside. Take a breath. What are you noticing now? Any thoughts, feelings, or sensations? If what you noticed feels okay or helpful in some way, just notice that and apply slow back and forth taps, side to side, 6 to 8 seconds, back and forth. If what you noticed felt unsettling or unhelpful, what do you need in this moment to feel more at ease? Add that in, notice it, and then apply the slow back and forth tap side to side. Pause and take a breath. Now close the container. Does it close? If it doesn't, what do we need to add to it to make sure it closes? Go ahead and add that to it. Notice the experience and any sensations that come up with closing the container. Remember to breathe evenly. Take a deep breath. What are you noticing now? If what you've noticed feels okay, helpful, or brings some adaptive shift, just notice that and apply slow bilateral taps side to side, 6 to 8 sets back and forth. Just noticing it. Pause and take a breath. When you take a step back from the container now, do you feel like the object is in there and you can go back to it when you can? Let's tap that in. Pause and a breath. What are you noticing now? If you're noticing something that feels okay, helpful, or grounded, just notice that and tap that in. And if it doesn't feel positive or helpful, or make you feel grounded, what would you need to feel more positive or adaptive or grounded with this container? Let's add that in, notice it, and strengthen it with the taps. Take a pause and take a breath. Good. can be very helpful to give your container a name or a phrase that you can use to remind you of this container if you ever are feeling distressed and need to store something away for safekeeping. What would you like to call it? There's no right or wrong answer. Anything that comes to mind that will bring you back to this container when you need it. Okay, now I invite you to hold that name together with everything you've experienced about it and strengthen it by tapping it in slowly, 6 to 8 sets back and forth. Noticing the name and the image and the sensations. Pause and take a breath. I encourage you to bring up your container in your mind using this name throughout the day, at the very least once a day, even just for 5 to 10 seconds at a time, or for longer if you want. The more you practice, the more easily you'll be able to access it when you want or need it as a tool for comfort and a sense of control. Remember to strengthen it with the taps because the tapping helps your brain process, connect, and store all of the pleasing details in an adaptive way. When you're ready, if you've closed your eyes, you can flutter them open and join me again. What are you noticing now?